One of the biggest leaders in cute stuff being surprisingly graphic, Happy Tree Friends is a prime example of just because something is animated doesn't mean it's for kids, a lesson many in Hollywood still need to learn. What makes this series horrific is, on top of all the gore, it's being done to some sweet and innocent characters, well, mostly sweet. I'm Kifinosi with Wicked Binge, and this is Happy Tree Friends, good to evil. There are two big rules here. Firstly, due to continuity being non-existent with this show, we're going to be taking into account all the different roles a character plays in each episode. And secondly, Flippy and Flickpy will be counted separately. As usual, we'll be starting with our most pure and noble characters and working our way down to the most evil. These characters are some of the sweetest in this gruesomely cute world. Starting us off, we have the veteran bear getting a gold medal of honor, Flippy. Once a soldier, he's retired to the peaceful village. Just taking this side into account, it's clear to see why he's high up here. Outside of being a kind-hearted soldier, he's one of the nicest characters in the cast, happy to just be part of the friends and their adventures, or help them out, as seen in Without a Hitch, with him constantly helping Flaky despite her own concerns about him. Despite his Flickpy side causing a lot of deaths, he seems to be aware of this and hates it. In the TV show's finale, Double Whammy, he pieces together the fact that he kills people in his PTSD state and tries to get help, and even fights against his own mind in the end, triumphing over his Flickpy side. While he may have caused his fair share of deaths in the series, it's under his Flickpy side, and it shows that he's definitely not that same bear. For the silver medal of goodness, we have the anteater, Sniffles. This anteater is the smartest character here, at least in terms of book smarts. He's usually seen inventing new tools and inventions. Whenever he pops in, it's usually to help others, like helping Pop find his son when he thought he fell into a well, or going inside of Giggles's body to help her overcome a sickness. Sniffles' biggest feat would be going back in time over and over again to try and prevent the deaths of the cast as they keep getting themselves injured on playground toys like the slide, swings, and the seesaw. However, what knocked him down to silver was his constantly trying to eat the ants, leading to insanely outlandish punishments. Overall, while he does have his own moments of evilness, they're incredibly minor, and in the end, he's a smart, reliable friend. Working on our bronze medal of evil, it's the handyman, Handy. This beaver is a handless, hard worker. While he's often seen not reaching things thanks to his lack of hands, whenever he isn't on camera, he can be an effective worker. While he does seem rather unfazed by all the violence around him, it's not due to the fact that he loves that they're dying, it's more to him that he's happy that he's still alive. He was able to be sorrowful for Mole's death in The Wrong Side of the Tracks and sympathize with Petunia after she lost her arms in I Nub You, with him even dating her. While he can be grumpy, it's due to constantly being frustrated with his lack of hands, which is understandable. While Handy can be a bit of a pill at times, he's still a very reliable and nice worker. Coming in next nervously is the only character we can call street smart, Flaky. She's well aware of all the dangers in the world, from Flippy's violent side to a vast array of other hazards in the world, and she's a nervous wreck. She's almost always scared of something, and with all the deadly occurrences we see here, we can't blame her. She's constantly trying to keep others safe, yet can put her paranoia aside to be with others for fun times, like preparing for a birthday party or hanging out with her friends for a game of cards. While she's pretty anxious and easily startled, with a world as surprisingly grim as this one, we can see why she's so scared and cautious of others. Starting to come up into some of the more normal characters, first up we have Giggles. This pink bear is friendly and sweet toward most of the cast. She was made to be so innocent and kind as to make her deaths twist all the more. Giggles is the one offering the most sympathy for others and being compassionate towards them. She's willing to step up to help protect the environment, even against Lumpy and his callous attitude. She's just a regular, friendly villager of the land. Next up is Giggles' most common boyfriend, Cuddles. This bunny is on the more sporty side of the cast. He's also a bit more reckless, more than happy to jump into adventure and fun, even if it ends with him getting another death in the series. Still, he does show concern and fear for when others die and is able to forgive Lumpy after he put him in the hospital bed with his magic act. As energetic as he can be, Cuddles is still just as friendly. Time to smell what Petunia has to deal with. This skunk is a neat freak who gets nervous and frightened when even a single toothpick is out of place. She's constantly cleaning up even the smallest of spots and gets more and more unhinged when her own home or body are unclean. Despite this insanity, she's still able to go out and be friends with others, like with her best friend Giggles. While she's cold at Disco Bear's advances, we really can't blame her for how blunt and crude he can be at times. Still, she's more than willing to call an ambulance when she realizes Disco Bear wasn't faking his heart attack. There's no stink to be raised with Petunia. Setting sail next is Russell. Despite the pirate theme attire, this guy's less like a pirate and more like a sailor. For For the early part of the series, he's mostly on his own, sailing around the sea for his own goals. Later on, he became more open to working with others, like Lumpy, be it hunting for treasure or being in a band with him. The worst crime Russell has is being part of that awful YouTube copyright school video with copyright infringement. Otherwise, he's one of the friendlier characters and pirates you can meet. Why did he do that? Smiling brightly next, it's Toothy. This beaver is proud of his shiny and big teeth and serves as the everyday man of the group. He's willing to try and help others, even continuing to sing in class act to raise spirits. However, he's stated by the creators to be the least developed character in their opinion. From the few unique traits we did see, he was a bit of a troublemaker, with him constantly throwing snowballs at others and accidentally hurting them. It's incredibly minor in the grand scheme of things, but when these things have to be considered, it goes to show how pleasant these folks are. Bet you didn't see this one coming. Next up is the Mole. Once a blind spy, Mole is an animal who focuses on using his other instincts to do his tasks. He seems genuine, trying to be a good and helpful person, from having a date with who he thinks is Giggles when it's actually Lumpy's corpse, to helping Giggles clean up the environment. Of course, his blindness does lead to him killing others, but these mostly seem to be accidental, although he either doesn't mind due to a lack of verbal or physical acknowledgement, or his past as a spy made him more accepting of others dying. Either way, if you have a job that doesn't involve having eyes, Mole is your guy. For the youngest member of the cast, we have a cub named Cub. Very appropriate. This newborn baby is just starting out life, and with all the carnage happening around him, he often ends up getting killed. A good handful of his deaths come from his father not thinking things through and accidentally harming him. Cub is pretty much what you'd expect, an innocent who doesn't have much understanding of the world around him. This allows him to see stuff that would normally be horrifying for some people as fun and exciting, like using body parts as either a tire swing or as goofy glasses. Overall, he really is just an innocent baby who isn't able to understand the world yet. At the end of the good tier, we have the purple sheep, Lammy. This sheep at first seems to just be a friendly little sheep and animal like all the other residents. However, thanks to how she has to deal with her own personal demon, or in this case, a pickle, she has to do her best to stop him. However, in trying to stop him, she ends up accidentally causing more lethal damage. While she does end up accidentally killing others from her point of view, she's trying to save them from Mr. Pickles. However, she does end up causing a lot more deaths than she would if she just got rid of her pickle friend the first time after his actions were shown. Lammy by herself is definitely nice, but keeping her pickle friend around after everything he did and she tried to stop doesn't do her favors when over half of the cast is made up of innocent woodland creatures. Next up, we have the gray area. These are the characters who, while still feel bad for all the times they kicked the can, we can see just how and why they did it. The first character here is Cub's father, Pop. This guy is the proud father of Cub, wanting to do his best to raise him well. However, he can be pretty absent-minded, not realizing his son is in any danger, like when he was attacked by a dog, accidentally slamming a door on him without realizing it, or being left with sharp tools meant for Hare. Despite all this, it's clear he does genuinely love his son. Whenever he realizes his son is either missing or dead, he reacts accordingly, like in Every Litter Bit Hurts, with him getting worried for his safety and trying to find him, even if he didn't realize he was already dead. Other times, it's just not his fault that Cub dies, like in Ipso Fatso when Cub gets run over. As ignorant as he can be, Pop, when his heart is in the right place, it shows. Performing now is Mime. This deer is mute by choice, doing his best to stay committed to the role of the mime. He can be too devoted to the role, however, refusing to use his voice in Who's to Flame, leading to the town being destroyed. He was even willing to save an imaginary corpse over sniffles when working as a lifeguard. This may sound like we're knocking him down for being mute, but as Unhappy Trails shows, he can make sounds with his mouth, so he definitely does have some blame here. Despite this, he truly does want to help others and make them happy, performing tricks for them and wanting to make them laugh. He even works as entertainer for hospitals to cheer up patients. So while he does want to do good, his dedication to his job can make that a bit hard sometimes. Next, we have the main mascot for the series, Lumpy. This blue moose has done it all. Being a series recurring character, he has plenty of both heroic and villainous roles. He was a vampire that killed others by draining their blood, to a pest control expert able to stop a giant squid with a mousetrap. He's cared for those he accidentally harmed in his magic act, and he's deliberately caused Toothy's death to sell his organs. More often than not, he's a mindless fool who's mostly interested in doing what he thinks is good, be it causing damage to the environment or adopting a bunch of animals to save them. Lumpy's more or less a wild card when it comes to morality. Either way, good or bad, he's one to be wary of. From a very animated character to a lifeless looking character, we have Crow Marmot. This guy is a caveman stuck inside of a cube of ice. Anything we really see him do is when he's off screen. From the only 2 episodes he's focused on he's more focused on his own goals, be it just sliding down a mountain, even if it kills others, smacking a dead Giggles' corpse with a snowball, snowball, to trying to be a surfer to be admired by the females, not minding when their lips get ripped off on his ice cube. The closest we get to seeing his true personality is in the black and white cartoon Dinosaur Days, when he's just trying to survive. In the end, Chrome Armament is more of a prop than a character, and from what we see, he's just another member of the cast who doesn't care about all the violence going on. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's splendid! This super squirrel is the superhero of the city, helping out those in need and fighting against villains. However, that's only what he does when he has to. Most of the time, he's happy to do his own thing. This could be fine if he weren't that selfish. More often than not, he's annoyed and irritated by the fact that he has to act heroic and save others. Even then, he only saves people to be praised and seen as a hero, and accidentally kills others in his attempts to be seen as a hero. Still, he does try to be a good hero at times, like filling in for Santa Claus after accidentally hurting him and checking in on the chaos in class act. He can be good and splendid, but he only really is if he tries to be. Dancing on through is Disco Bear. This furry Johnny Bravo only has two real goals: flirting with women and dancing. He's more focused on himself and his looks than he is on the well-being of others. Whenever he sees others in pain, he's more likely to think of it as a dance move than them being in actual pain. His vanity for himself is so high that his own personal hairdryer is hot enough to heat up the ozone layer. He constantly keeps on mindlessly bumping and knocking others away to flirt and show off, of course leading to their deaths, like with Flaky and Rink Hijinks and Skia Wouldn't Wanna Be Ya. However, it's shown he does still genuinely try and be nice and welcoming, even if he still is just full of himself, so we can't really call Disco Bear a truly bad guy. Ending this tier sourly is Nutty. This guy is addicted to sweets. He's constantly bouncing up and down looking for his next sweet. His addiction is to the point where he will eat cardboard if it looks like candy. This has led to him killing others just to focus on fulfilling his addiction. He doesn't seem to care if others are hurt, like Flaky when her allergies acted up, or Toothy when he was in the hospital. If they're in the way of Nutty getting his candy, he's going to knock them aside. He was even willing to steal candy from Cub just to eat it. The only thing saving him from the bad to evil section is that he once was cured of his candy addiction, and he became much more upright, at least until he got addicted to video games instead. Overall, this squirrel is one of the most selfish critters here. Finally, it's the bad to evil section. These three spots are for characters who truly caused this place to get the bloodbath reputation it has. For the bronze medal of evil, it's the character we all think you expected to take the gold, Flippy. This side of Flippy is a violent killer, seemingly slaughtering anything in his path. He gets set loose whenever Flippy's PTSD is triggered by stuff reminding him of the war. Whenever he is on screen, 90% of the time someone is going to get brutally massacred. However, despite these deadly tendencies, we really can't give him the gold medal for three major reasons. First off, as confirmed by the show staff, Flippy really isn't seeing the other residents as regular friendly people, but rather as enemies from the war he fought in. Secondly, he seems to have some sort of code of honor, attacking only people that he sees are capable of fighting back, avoiding ones with disabilities like blindness, such as Mole. And finally, he seems to be able to back down if he sees something that reminds him of Flippy being happy, like in Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, when he almost runs down Lumpy in a helicopter, letting his other side take control. Still, while Flippy does have some twisted good morals, you really don't want to meet this bear. Stealing the two silver medals of evil, we have the brother thieves, Lifty and Shifty. Unlike Flippy, these two guys don't mean anything good. They're thieves who are proud of their status and more than happy to steal money and goods from others. Shifty's even more callous, willing to leave his brother for dead just to get his own treasure and profits. While they are incompetent, when they do get to work, they can be pretty wicked, with them either causing the deaths of others or just not caring about their misfortune, even stealing money off of a dead Lumpy. Unlike Flippy, who has these post-traumatic stress problems which cause him to see other characters as enemy soldiers, we can't give these two the benefit, and with how willing they are to steal and harm others, their willingness to cause harm is what causes them to fall this low. Combining the viciousness of Flippy and the willingness of Lifty and Shifty, our gold medal of evil belongs to Mr. Pickles. Unlike them, Mr. Pickles purposefully causes deaths and mayhem just for his own selfish goals. The sole friend of Lammy, he wants it to stay that way, killing others who may interfere with that idea. While there could have been some ambiguity as to whether or not Lammy was the one doing it, and we saw the episodes through her eyes, Royal Flush disproves this theory and confirms that Mr. Pickles is just a sour pickle who wants Lammy all to himself. With the distinction between him and Lammy sealed, we feel comfortable giving him the gold medal of evil here for the worst resident in Happy Tree Friends.